Put yourself in position to win big on Kentucky Derby Day with the power of daily racing form. Visit shop.drf.com and get past performances, expert picks, betting strategies, clock reports, and more. Again, that's shop.drf.com. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a peek at Kentucky Derby Contender Verifying. He's got a beautiful, classy pedigree, and he's coming into this race off a career best Beyer speed figure performance in the Bluegrass. Let's watch the stretch drive. Verifying got right up close to the pace in this race, took over the lead turning into the stretch, and that's Tapit Trice, one of the strongest Kentucky Derby contenders, to his outside. To Verifying's credit, Mike, he fights hard all the way down to the wire. He's only going to lose this race by a neck. And best of all, for speed figure fans, he earned a 99, which puts him right in the hunt on the first Saturday in May.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he doesn't relent here really at all through the stretch. And he's going to come away second best to Tapit Trice here after a long battle. But he really never gave much quarter there at the end of that race. He sat right up close to the pace. I think that's a good thing for this horse. He's a very tactical runner. He feels like he can get a really good trip in the Kentucky Derby. And more than anything else, Dan, this horse, he started out with potential anyway. He's really improved as a 3-year-old.
A $775,000 yearling by Triple Crown winner Justify. Verifying is a half-brother to Midnight Bizu, a classy multiple Grade 1 stakes winner. He's also a half to a stakes place dirt sprinter named Stage Left. The Dam was a Grade 3 stakes winner going 2 turns. So there's a lot of pedigree, and he was fast and precocious enough to win sprinting in his career debut on Travers Day at Saratoga. Backed that up with a good second in the Champagne. Now, he wasn't ready for Forte in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Mike, but the Rebel was really his only bad race in 2023, and he had some excuses that day.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, not only was it another sloppy track, and so far, I don't think it's fair to say he doesn't, he can't stand up on a wet track, but he might not be quite as good when the track is wet as compared to when it's fast. But he also, in that Rebel, just, he lacked room. He was blocked and shuffled back a bit in the upper stretch of that race. And it wound up really costing him. I thought he did well just to get fourth that day. But again, so that race is better than it looks. His first start back this year, back in January in that allowance race, was a really strong performance, a huge step forward for this horse. He improved again in the Bluegrass last time. There's all the other stuff that you've already mentioned, Dan, his pedigree, his running style, his connections. There's a lot to like about Verifying.
It looks like he's matured strongly from 2 to 3, and it's never too early to start looking at a pace situation for the Kentucky Derby. Verifying is a horse that has speed, and if he breaks, I think there's a chance that he might be the one to go to the front under the Twin Spires the first time.
That's a fair point. I mean, so far there isn't a ton of pace in this Derby. So, obviously you have to wait and see how that all shakes out. Jason's Road did just, work his way into the field, and that horse has a little speed. So that helps. The good news for Verifying is, certainly they could send him forward if this pace doesn't get that fast, and he could cut it. But he doesn't need to do that. He's a very handy and tactical horse. So if somebody else goes, he's perfectly comfortable sitting off it.
He's yet to win a stakes race, but he's multiple Grade 1 placed in his career, coming into the Kentucky Derby off his highest Beyer ever, a 99, and he goes out for the high percentage Brad Cox barn. His name is Verifying. He's got a big pedigree, and he might be a fair price on Derby Day.